Welcome back, Not Done Yet Adventurers. We're here today to do a little how-to video since John and Greg are out gallivanting around the country. They're, I believe, in Texas right now, doing some camping. The retired folk get to kind of run around and do whatever they want, while Rob and I have to sit down and hold down the fort here back in Ohio. So just poking little fun at the boys there. But what we're doing today is making fire starters for our overlanding trips. Hello, Not Done Yet Adventurers. This is Wayne from Not Done Yet Adventures with the weather we've got going on right now in Ohio. We're not doing a whole lot of traveling or riding at the moment. Figured I'd do a little how-to video today for some fire starters that we make, especially for our overlanding trips when we're out and not near too much civilization, things like that. You might have seen some of these videos online to make fire starters out of egg crates, which are these things right here. As you can tell, they're pretty little. They're kind of tedious to make, and we generally use 3 or 4 of those to get started, get a fire started when we're out overlanding. So I had kind of decided I'm going to try to make these bigger, which is what I'm going to show you today. So these are covered in a paraffin wax, and how you make this little cube here is it's one little egg holder out of the crate, cut down, stuffed with a little bit of dryer lint, and then dipped in paraffin wax to make it waterproof. So you carry these along. These are real nice if you're limited on space, but you do need several of them, and like I said, they're a little tedious to make. So I've decided to try to make them bigger. So what I've come up with is I've been using not only egg crates, but these little cup holders that come from McDonald's, Burger King, choose your fast food place and insert it here. Also, I've been using egg crates, but instead of using just one, I've cut them into 4s. To make them a little bigger. Along with that, what you're going to need is some cotton twine, which I have here. I just actually bought this one today, $2.99 for 420 feet. Obviously the egg crates, I would say they're free, but eggs are really expensive right now, so they don't seem too free anymore. And obviously the cup holders are free from whatever local fast food joint you go to. So the other thing you need is some dryer lint, which I have here. I've been saving our dryer lint. Got a couple cans of this stuff. You need some paraffin wax. I got this at Walmart here in Ohio. I want to say it was $2.99 maybe for the box. When you open the box, they're in like little bricks. Like so. And then I also went out, because my wife would have thrown a fit. I bought the cheapest little pan I could find at Walmart. You can see there's wax in there. And then I don't ever have to worry about ruining one of her pans. And I can take this and just leave the wax in it. I don't have to clean it out. I don't lose any wax that way. So with that, I showed you here where the egg crates are cut to down to 4 eggs. You'll see the little high spot here. Obviously it's on both sides. So I cut that out, cut the high spot out, and then I leave this high spot in, and then it fits together real nicely like so. For the cup holders, I take and I cut those down to one cup holder size that I can stuff full of dryer lint. And then I cut another one just a little bit smaller, and I actually cut it so down the middle so it's flexible. And then once I stuff it with dryer lint, you can kind of squeeze this and make a cap out of it. And then on both of these cases, we'll tie it shut. And then I can use the string to dip it in the wax. So what I'm going to do now is take, and I'm going to stuff this one full of wax, or full of dryer lint. Takes quite a bit of dryer lint to fill these up. So I stuff that down in there, a little more, so it's nice and full. Then I'm going to slap this little lid on it. Just so it kind of fits in there. It doesn't have to be beautiful. I'm going to do the same thing with the egg crate to kind of show you that. Kind of stuff these individually. Like so. Do the same thing with the top. Like so. And I put these together, and then we'll go ahead and tie those together here in a second. So now that I have those put together, I'll pull off some string, and I pull off a healthy amount of string. And I'll show you why here in a second. So I cut a nice healthy piece of string. I tie a little loop in the end of it, like so. And then what I do is I'm going to hold the loop about in the middle. This is kind of the difficult part, as I said before, when you're doing this on the single egg crates, it's a little more tedious, especially if you have big sausage fingers like mine. So I pull it through that loop so I can pull it tight, like so, and then I wrap it around, come around the other way, and you don't even really have to tie it here at the end. I just wrap it around that centerpiece a few times where the two strings cross, maybe. Wrap it around there a couple times. And you can tell how tedious this would be on a real little one. So basically, like so. Same idea on the other ones here. Nice long piece of string. Tie a little loop in the end of it. Then I come around here, again about in the middle. So you can kind of pull that tight. And I come down and come the other direction. Come around, and again just loop it around where they meet a couple times. Like so. Loop it in there again. Now, you don't really have to tie this part, and I leave the extra tail of string on there so I can pull them back out of the wax because the wax is hot. But again, like so. So the next part, we'll go heat up the wax so I can show you dropping these things in. You do have to kind of hold them under the wax a little bit. They tend to want to float. But you're essentially wanting to soak the whole thing in the paraffin wax. And what that will do for you is make these things waterproof, right? So if you're out on, out on an overlanding trail, or you're out camping or whatever, and it starts pouring down rain, these will still light even if they completely get soaked, because the wax keeps them from getting wet. So we'll stop there. I'll go up and we'll start the next step of the process. Okay, as you can see here, I made up a few more. I didn't want to bore you with all that stuff. Hold on, throw some stuff away here. A couple things before we get started. Here's my pan with the wax in it, that old wax where I've done this before. So I'm going to turn on that on high so that can start to melt. Make sure I got the right burner. A couple other things you want to do while you're waiting for that to happen. I usually take an old cookie sheet my wife has, throw that down. This here is just some parchment paper. Just crinkled it up because it's hard to put down when it wants to roll up all over the place. I put that over the cookie sheet, and I put the cookie sheet close to where we're going to be working. That way, the entire mess can stay out of the kitchen, hopefully. So while this gets going, I always use a little chopstick to help push this thing down in, so I don't ruin our silverware or anything. But for the moment, we're going to wait for this to heat up. I'm also going to be putting extra wax in it once it heats up, making it pretty full so that I can submerge each one of these. So I'm just pulling these out, setting them aside for right now so I can get ready to throw them in. And I'll be back as soon as this starts melting down. So this took about 3 minutes, but you can see hopefully that it's pretty much liquefied. I'm just waiting for the last little ring to liquefy. Now I'm going to start adding some bricks to it, just to create some more wax in there. With these being so big, I'm probably going to need more wax, which I have. Right here. So we'll take a look. Those ones have been in there almost a minute now, but I will come back when they're melted and we can start dipping these things. Okay, after about another 5 minutes, another 2 bricks of it has pretty much is all but gone at this point. I don't know if you can see inside the pan right now, but there are some little floaties of dryer lint from previous fire starters that I've made. So now what I do is I take one of these, stick it down in here. I use the chopstick to kind of push it down. And what we're wanting to do is let everything inside there get saturated. Leave the string hang outside the pan, that way you can pick it up. But these being so big and the pan being so small, I will have to flip it over. But essentially we want the insides of this to get saturated with wax, because that's what makes it waterproof. And it's going to fight me a little bit. It is hot. We'll roll it over that way. Let it soak for a few seconds there. You will notice things bubbling out. Usually I let the bubbles settle until they quit bubbling. That usually tells me it's pretty saturated. And once we get to that point, I can pick it up. pull this little pan closer so we don't make a big mess. Let her drip a little bit. I'm going to tip it just because there's some stuff inside there. And then we'll set it there to solidify. And then do it again. Alright, so we'll take this. This is the egg crate. We'll drop that down in there. You do have to hold it down just a little bit because it doesn't want to float. At least till it starts sucking in some wax there. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. The wax is starting to boil. We don't want it to do that. But we'll take a quick look. If we tip over, you can see some of the bubbles coming out of the inside. And again, we'll just flip this thing over. So the other side can get a bunch of wax in there. Now, making them this big, you do go through quite a bit of wax. But at the end of the day, that's what keeps all this from, from being able to get saturated if you're out in the bush. So once we're there, I want to pick this up, let it drip a little bit. And then set this on my sheet. Let it dry. I got to melt some more wax, and I'll do the rest of these, and then I'll be back with you. I won't make you watch all of this. So the fire starters that we've made, this little one that I started with, this thing, believe it or not, actually lasts about 20-25 minutes, maybe 30. Kind of all depends on how much lint you get stuffed in there, how much wax is on it. Wax causes it to burn a little slower, so it doesn't just burn up real fast. And these are waterproof since they're covered in wax, which makes it really good for us to take out on our overlanding trips due to limited space and such. So as I made these little ones, you can see here I still have quite a few left, but generally use 3 or 4 of them anyway to get a good fire started and relatively quickly. If you try to start a fire with one of these, it would do in a pinch. If you were stuck in the wilderness or something like that, we're usually trying to cook off the fire and stuff like that, so we're a little less patient with it, so we wanted something a little bigger, which is where I come up with these. And these, I don't know how long they burn because I haven't actually timed one. We did use them in West Virginia when we went to the Hatfield McCoys this last October, and it worked really well. One of these little bricks started us really decent fires every night. They light pretty easy because of being cardboardish, and the wax helps them burn a little slower, so they help get your fire going better. So again, these little ones are great to have with you at all times. Probably even great to keep in your car, in case you were stranded anywhere and needed a little fire to get warm, obviously outside of your car. But the bigger ones we're going to be using to start fires a little quicker. And they, like I said, they tend to work really well. So we will leave the things you need to do this. Like I said, most of this is free. Comes with either the cup holders or eggs or whatever. I do tie them shut. You don't have to. I've seen YouTube videos where they've used even toilet paper rolls, and they stuff them with wood chips and then dump paraffin over it, so they don't have anything. That once the paraffin's in there and solidifies, it holds everything together. For me, I just tied them shut because it was easier that way. As always, we thank you for watching. smash that like and subscribe button. Kind of really helps us out. We've made it a long way so far. It's been a long road, but we're grateful for everybody that smashes that subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you on the next trip. We will be doing a how-to video on how to put a tracer light in one of our machines. I got tracer lights for mine. I know Greg got tracer light for his. However, his machine is still not up and running yet. They're waiting on a couple parts that are back ordered. Thanks as always for watching. Stay safe.
Robbie, what are you doing?
Putting the time steam on there.